Hey guys, it's Vanessa and welcome back to my channel. It's Friday, which means it's time for another What's for Dinner, where I show you what I feed my blended family of 6 from Sunday to Thursday. So let's get right into it. First off, for Sunday, we had delicious steak sandwiches. For the beef, I get it from M&M Meat Shops. I believe it may only be here in Canada, and it's just very thinly shaved beef, kind of frozen into these 4 little pucks. You can cook them right from frozen, which is why they are ideal for nights like this when I wanted to make steak sandwiches and I just took them directly out of the freezer. I'm also going to use some Worcestershire sauce. Ooh, I did that. Very proud. And I need some, apparently. Some pepper and salt and some garlic salt to go ahead and season up the beef. Also, I'm going to use these sub buns and I'm going to brush them with a little bit of garlic butter and toast them before I put the meat or anything on them. I also have some mozzarella cheese and some Velveeta in case anybody felt like trying that out. I also have some pepperoncinis to serve on the side, and I will be frying up these green peppers and onions along with the beef. Here's everything you'll need to make the sandwiches. So like I said, they are super simple to put together. I just add a little bit of oil to this pan. It's just a non-stick pan. Well, it's not just a pan, it's the rock pan. And if you've heard me rave about them before, there's a reason. They're amazing. Basically, I just throw these on there. After about a minute or so, they're just soft enough for me to separate, and you'll see how much it actually produces. I ended up cooking the other 2 pucks as well because, well, tonight we were hungry. Now, of course, I can't seem to find the footage of me chopping up the pepper and the onions, but here it is. I just threw them in the pan when the beef was about halfway done. Okay, so here's the butter. All I'm going to do is go ahead and pop it in the microwave for about 25 seconds till it starts to melt and brush it on the loaves once they're split in half. So with my oven preheated at 425, I will pop these in for about 3 to 5 minutes just till they start to toast and warm up. Also, I'm checking on my beef. Everything looks great. Next, I just have to grate up the rest of my mozzarella cheese. Now, obviously, there's no rule set in stone on what kind of cheese you should use on your steak sandwich. If you're making kind of a more authentic Philly cheesesteak or something, I think you would use like provolone or something stronger. But given the current state of the world, I'm not making a special trip to the grocery store for provolone. So here's some mozzarella. I've also sliced up this tomato and some lettuce because that will go on after we've toasted them. So again, I had footage of me assembling these subs, but alas, here they are put together. I will pop them in for roughly 10 minutes. Just keep a close eye. Now, I didn't do this to Jamie's sub, but for mine, I do like to drizzle a little bit of a sweet barbecue sauce. It just kind of reminds me of going to Subway. I know, super easy to please. I'm just going to throw the lettuce and tomatoes right on top so that they don't get all wilty in the oven. And here you have it, served with a side of potato chips. It was divine. All right, for Monday, one of my favorite meals, mini cheddar meatloaves with mashed potatoes. All right, per usual, I've laid out everything you're gonna need for this meal. I'm just gonna go ahead and we're gonna have some mashed potatoes with this. So I just use these russets because that's what they gave me in my grocery order. Normally I would use Costco frozen broccoli, like I said, but this is what I have right now. This is a more reasonable priced pack of ground beef. If you saw my grocery haul, you'll know why. $17, too much. $10, I can handle that. I'm just gonna throw Parmesan cheese, some barbecue sauce and breadcrumbs, parsley, basil, onion powder, garlic salt, and oregano as seasonings into the meatloaves, and I will stuff them with 1 little cube of cheddar cheese. Guys, this meal is so easy, but so satisfying. Now the pan that you're going to use for these mini meatloaves is this muffin tin, and I just showed you the size of a cube of cheese roughly that you would want to push down the center. I got this recipe off of a Craft Canada website. I'm talking 20 years ago. Like, I was a teenager when I used to make this for my mom. So, okay, maybe not 20 years ago. I'm pretty sure I wasn't accessing recipes on the internet, but in my early 20s. Basically, all I'm doing is throwing in some grated Parmesan cheese, some barbecue sauce, and all of the seasonings that I just listed to you. You could put actual onion, you could put green peppers in these, but given my family and what they prefer, I just left it bare, and I ended up adding some minced onion in here to compensate for not adding any chunks of onion. Okay, like I said, I found this recipe about 15-20 years ago on a Craft Canada website, and it was super basic. I don't know the exact measurements or ingredients. This is just basically what I can loosely remember it from. So I'm going to combine everything with the meat. Now it depends how much meat you have, how much seasoning you're going to use. That's a personal preference. You guys need to decide that. It does say, I believe you could put more cheese. For me, I just like that 1 cube in the center because it kind of blossoms like a flower. You'll see in a minute. So this is about the size of a baseball. I'm going to press it so that it's level with the top of the muffin tin, and that's usually just the right size to have them cooked in about 20 to 25 minutes. All right, so you saw that I just stuck one little cube down the center and it's perfect. You don't need to cover it or anything. Now you don't have to stick to cheddar. Obviously you could use mozzarella. You could make these like taco meatloaves, serve them with salsa on top. You could use nacho cheese. You could sprinkle cheese on top. The limits or the possibilities are endless. And so are the limits. Does that make any sense? Basically, I'm going to go ahead and finish stuffing all of these with the cheese, and then we will put them in the oven. I baked these at around, I believe, 350 for about 25 minutes. I think they're super cute. They look like little meat flowers. I know, gross, but still. If you guys don't have a muffin tin as well, I guess you could always form them with your hand and cook them on a sheet of aluminum foil on a cookie sheet. That would work. And they don't tend to stew in their own juices that way either. Whereas in the muffin tin, they're kind of bubbling in oil, especially with this because it was a medium ground beef. Anyway, here are some potatoes. I have already peeled them. I'm just going to go ahead and chop them all up to prep them to boil them and mash them. So those are all ready. I will just salt some water and boil them on the stovetop for about 25 minutes. Now I have my little handy dandy steamer tray that I got from the dollar store with their little feet. I love it. So I'm just going to go ahead and chop up a couple crowns of broccoli. How do you guys chop your broccoli up? Sometimes I'll peel it apart. I find it very relaxing to do this, kind of like an ASMR thing. And I like pulling them apart, and it feels very satisfying to get a really nice little tree off of that. Does that sound ridiculous? I'm ridiculous. You're welcome. Anyway, I don't like the stem to be too long when I steam my broccoli, so this is what I'm doing. Now, when it comes to broccoli, I don't do anything special. I don't even salt it. I just steam it straight as is because I will be serving it up with some melted cheese whiz. As promised, here's the cheese whiz. I just pop this right in the microwave for about 30 to 40 seconds, give it a really good stir, and it spoons over broccoli so beautifully. I guess you could probably do this with Velveeta, and we know I have some left because we didn't use it for the steak subs. Now here I am directing Jamie to come closer, no, come closer. I'm like right over the potatoes. Finding a good camera guy's hard, guys. No, I'm kidding. I love him. He's awesome. All I'm doing to my mashed potatoes is I am going right in there with that. It's not gross. Don't worry. It was perfectly clean. It's no different than using a knife. I add in a good amount of basil, a lot of pepper, and some milk. This is just lactose free. Use whatever you guys have in your house. I start mashing it together with an actual manual masher, and then I'm jumping into the bad boy, my masher. You guys know I love this so much. When I want to have a creamy mashed potato, like when I'm having meatloaf, this is what I'll use. Here they are, super whipped and creamy. Took zero effort at all. Burning my fingers trying to clean this off. But here you have it, these tiny little meatloaves. I swear I ate these for 3 days for lunch. They were so good. I just can't. It's so good. The cheese on the broccoli, the tomatoes, the cucumbers, all of it. Love this meal. I'd have this every week. All right, if you guys saw my thumbnail, you know there's some HelloFresh meals in here. Today was a chimichurri chicken bowl. I think my favorite part of HelloFresh is unboxing the bags of food. So here we go. We've got 2 beautiful chicken breasts, some basmati rice, a red onion. This was probably the nicest green pepper I've seen in my entire life. So cold and firm. Also a delicious Roma tomato, some cumin turmeric spice blend, and some fresh cilantro, which I will say was a little questionable. Some white wine vinegar. Love this little bottle. It's like I'm having a little shot of something. But here's everything. I just think it's so aesthetically pleasing. When you can do something that's fun to look at, you're more likely to do it. Do you agree? I also like to reuse the bag as I'm cooking, just as a disposal for my garbage. So just a tip. Every little thing helps, right? We're going to go ahead and slice up, as per the directions in the HelloFresh cards, some green peppers. The best thing about this, and I don't know if you guys have ever had it, and by the way, not sponsored, I'm not at that level yet. Regardless, even if it was, I'd be all over it because these products are phenomenal. Whether you are an experienced cook or somebody who just wants ideas or somebody who's never been in the kitchen before. There are certain staples that they expect you to have, like butter, salt, pepper, oils, things like that. Otherwise, they send you everything, as you just saw, the white wine vinegar. So all I'm doing, and they literally send you, so you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, there's 6 steps on that card. From start to finish, they give you all the directions with just the right amount of time to make sure it's all done at the right pace. Because sometimes cooking a big meal can be really overwhelming. Not in this case at all. These red onions and green peppers are going to be due to be roasted, and the tomatoes are being set aside for a salsa. There you go, all prepped. Now, the rice simply says to add 1.25 cups water with a pack of rice and half of the spice blend. I will say 1.25 cups was way off. It should have been 1.5 cups because within 3 minutes my rice was dry and not cooked. I'm going to go ahead and throw these vegetables to roast or to broil in my oven for about 5 minutes. I'm just going to add salt, pepper, and olive oil.
You look at me like I'm different. Still you stay cause you feel something real. Get so lost in my moments. Doesn't mean I don't need you. I fell in love with your colors. They kinda tell me what I'm thinking.
Now the directions did say to broil this on high for about 5 to 6 minutes.
There's something different about us.
Now that our vegetables are prepped, I'm going to go ahead and get ready to pan fry the chicken breasts. I will say this one was trickier because one was much larger than the other, but I just had to take one out before the next. Honestly, not that tricky, just annoying more than anything. It does say to season it with salt and pepper and the remainder of that turmeric cumin mixture thing.
Different about the way we are.
One little tip I can offer when cooking chicken breast in a pan like this so it doesn't dry out is it was getting very hot, so I went ahead and added about 1/2 cup of water and a lid, and it helped steam the chicken while still maintaining that flavor and the crispiness on the outside. At this point, it told me to add a little bit of olive oil and half of the white wine vinegar to the cilantro. Not gonna lie, I didn't enjoy this part, but it's fine. We just set it aside.
We're pouring cup after cup after cup. Yes.
All right, so my vegetables are roasted and looking delicious. I'm gonna go ahead and prep the tomatoes and the red onion. So basically earlier, I sliced half the onion and chopped or diced the other half. They tell me to combine all of the tomato and the onion with the white wine vinegar. You guys, I feel like I'm going to do this all the time with my vegetables now. I mean, I've pickled red onions before just quickly to have with supper, but this combination with the rice and a bite of chicken, so good. So take a look at my chicken breast. I think it came out very plump, very juicy, cooked on the stovetop. I find often that it can be very dry, but try the water. I'm telling you, it works. So here it is. I just wanted to show you guys a little bit closer. I'm not gonna lie, if you follow me on Instagram, I was not feeling this originally, but it grew on me and I loved it and I ate both bowls. Next up was HelloFresh Chinese style beef bowls. All right, this was a huge hit in my house. We have some ground beef, I have some green onion, some green beans. The produce looked amazing in this bag, you guys. Jasmine rice, that's my favorite. Also some bok choy. I appreciated that this was chopped up and I didn't have to do it, so that was quite lovely. Also a nice little piece of ginger, like I just think that's so nice. Some hoisin sauce, also a chili garlic sauce, and a sweet chili sauce. Also, those three combined, amazing. Here's everything you're gonna need to whip together an incredible meal. This was probably the best of the week. All right, step one is to peel your ginger. Now, I don't know if you're intimidated by this or you've never seen it done before, but as you see, yes, I've sped this up, but it's actually going quite quickly. Just to use the side of your spoon and peel back the peeling, super easy, very simple way to do this. I'm just gonna grate the ginger right into here, and if you have one of these microplanes, always check the back and scrape it down, because frankly, that's where all of the lemon zest and the ginger like to hide. Now, this was a neat technique for the rice. It did ask me to add the oil first and then the rice directly to the oil along with half of the grated ginger that I just did, and to kind of combine that a bit before adding the water. Really neat way to add flavor to your rice. I will definitely be trying this again with different spices. Now, this is why I say I love HelloFresh, because it does inspire and give new ideas. Even if you're someone like me who does cook a lot, cooks often, I'm not overly intimidated in the kitchen, but these are techniques or things that I may have never tried before, so I absolutely love that. This is a meal, this recipe card, all of it will be tucked away in my recipe book because I can easily recreate this. I don't need them to send me the ingredients, but thank you for the ideas, HelloFresh.
You go low, then you go high, you go near, then you
So again, we're just prepping our produce. I trimmed the ends off of all the beans and then cut them into roughly 1-inch pieces. And now I am just slicing up these green onions because these will be used to sprinkle over top of our beef bowls at the end when we're ready to eat.
Promise you my life, promise you my time, promise you no lie, yeah. There you go.
Now, the fantastic camera woman that I am lost some footage again. So I combined the hoisin sauce and the garlic chili sauce and half of this other packet of chili sauce all together to make this amazing sauce. How many times can I say sauce? Sauce. Anyway, it was so good. I will definitely be buying a bottle of hoisin and chili sauce in the future to make this again. All I'm doing is throwing these green beans into a frying pan with some oil, literally throwing them if you saw that. I'm just gonna cook these for about 3 or 4 minutes before I go ahead and add the bok choy and the remainder of the ginger. You really just want to make sure that everything is well coated and softened a little bit because you want everything to have a bite. But if you don't, cook it longer and it'll be softer. Now I'm going to set these vegetables aside, use the same pan to cook up that ground beef. Once it's looking about 3/4 of the way cooked or almost cooked, I'm going to go ahead and add in that hoisin sauce mixture and let that thicken for a few minutes and we're ready to eat. I should mention too that I added some garlic salt that they were saying to add. I don't know if garlic salt was supposed to be in the bag or if that's an expectation they think that people have. Either way, luckily I had some on hand, so I was fine. And now if you guys watch my What's for Dinners, you know that I love my rice cooker. This is why. It doesn't matter what I'm doing, I get distracted and I get my rice stuck to the bottom of the pot every stinking time. Anyway, half the green onions I forgot go into the rice, which again, lovely, loved it, would do this again over and over. And now I'm gonna go ahead and build the bowl. It's rice, vegetables, beef, sprinkle on the onions, and chow down. You guys, make this. If you never look at HelloFresh, that's fine. But take the ingredients that I have listed here and make this at home. It was better than the beef bowls we get at the market, which is saying something. All right, guys, there you have it. Another What's for Dinner in the books. Sorry, it's just 4 out of 5 days, but I'm telling you, it's been one of those weeks and I'm grateful that I got 4 meals at all. I hope you're having an awesome week. Check out my other content, subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video.